I didn't know that 64% of our fourth graders are not reading proficiently, and this was several years ago. I just looked it up today. In 2025, we're at 67% of fourth graders. It's not going down. It's getting worse. So I've been teaching since 1988, and I started off just loving my job, not even thinking of it as a job. And my day was just full of joy and fun and making learning fun for the kids. And then I after full day kindergarten, I decided I wanted to teach first grade. But I really didn't know what I was doing as far as teaching reading. And first grade is the year that we expect our kids to learn to read. We were expecting our kids to just get their thoughts on paper and be creative in their writing. And it was called inventive spelling at the time. And I remember always being conflicted with that, because when is the point that I actually taught my first graders the real way to spell the word the real way to spell the word have? And nobody could answer that for me. And so that was probably the beginning of me feeling like there's got to be something more as a first grade teacher. But in addition to that, not knowing that, questioning my own ability to teach these kids, not only that, I fell into a trap with all the other teachers. We started believing that if the kid would just work harder, if they would read at home at night, if their parents would sit down with them and read with them more, if they tried harder in the classroom and started paying attention and stopped goofing off, then they're going to learn to read. You know, we were blaming everybody. We were blaming everybody else for their inability to learn to read and to retain that information year after year. And that was when I just had to look at myself and stop feeling like, honestly, I felt like a fraud. I felt like, at some point, I think I felt like, I was hindering their learning, because if I teach them to guess at words and they look at the pictures now, and knowing very well they're not going to be able to do that in third grade. They're going to go on to third grade and they're not going to have the tools they need to get through a pictureless book. And I was, I can't do this anymore. I can't fool the parents to think that I'm like the know-all, that I am the expert, because I'm not. It just doesn't matter with all that education. It doesn't matter all those years of experience, because I wasn't doing my job. And I would always think about, one child in particular who, came from a very low-income home, no books at home. Parents would come to the parent-teacher conference and tell me that they dropped out of school. They couldn't read the books that he was reading, so they couldn't help him. And I thought about, okay, if I'm getting the bottom 20% of these students as the reading interventionist, and I can't make a difference in their lives, who is going to? Are we writing these kids off? Are these kids going to be the ones that end up unemployed? Are they going to be the ones in jail? Are they going to be the ones that, become homeless? I don't, what's going to happen? So I did. I walked away. And I needed to do that. I needed to figure this out. I am not going to be part of the group that blames everything else for their inability to learn to read. So I walked away. So after I left the school district, I decided that I needed to educate myself again. I need to learn more about how I can help those kids that continually struggle with learning and just nothing's clicking for them. So I thought, well, I could open a tutoring center. I know there's always kids who need to be tutored. So I did that out of my home, Auburn Reading Center. I was thinking to myself, okay, I don't have the materials that the big districts have, although I don't really want those materials because it's not really working. What am I going to do? And so I Googled, how to teach phonics to my students, how to teach a kid how to read. And I came across a woman doing flashcards of the alphabet and saying the sounds. And I was intrigued. I mean, I was kind of bored, but at the same time thinking, I don't know all those sounds. I didn't know that letter I had 4 sounds. Y has 4 sounds. Y can also be a vowel. What? And so I looked up this woman who was doing this on YouTube and discovered that she had a book. And it was called Uncovered the Logic of English. I thought, well, I'll start with the alphabet. And I looked on the back of her cover, of the back cover of her book, and discovered that she lives in the state next to me. And she's only 3 hours away if I drive. And so I contacted her and asked if I could take her to lunch. And I drove 3 hours one afternoon to meet her for lunch. Then, I thanked her and I drove back home. But on my way back home, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have the Holy Grail. I have got to teach. I've got to share this with more teachers. I have to share this with everybody I know that, you know what? We're teaching kids how to read the wrong way. The information in her book is based on research. It's based on brain research. It's not just a theory or an idea. And there's research that shows what happens with a skilled reader, a good reader, and what happens with an unskilled reader or even a dyslexic reader. And plain as day, they're using different parts of their brain. And so that was really, really instrumental in me deciding that, you know what, I really want to focus on the most vulnerable children. And that is those children whose brains are dyslexic. And Denise, I kind of was the impetus for that to happen. In the meantime, I'm, searching for people who are like-minded, people who want to help change the trajectory of these kids and their future. And so I thought, okay, I think I'm going to open a school. I'm just going to open a school. And then I didn't know what to do. Where do I go? I have no money. So I talked with some of the parents of students that I was tutoring over the summer and told them my idea and said, hey, if I could get a place to teach your children for a school year, would you consider coming, sending your child to my school? Well, yes. They said yes, they would. So I told these parents and they all signed up. And so I opened with 5 little boys, all of them around 9 years old, all of them going into 3rd grade, all of them really not reading, definitely not spelling, definitely not enjoying school. And we started the school year in 2022. And the first day of school, there were just 5 desks, 5 little boys and me. And here I was, going to be the classroom teacher, the principal, the lunch lady, the recess supervisor, the janitor. I was going to be everybody. And I was so excited. I thought, okay, these boys, we're going to get you to grade level. We're going to teach you to read. You're going to love learning. And it's just us. And after the first couple weeks, we got a rhythm going. We got a schedule going. We got something that worked for these boys. and worked for me. And I can honestly say today that those Feller 5 boys, having them for my first year as Feller School, I'll never, ever, ever forget. And it was the best year of my life. The best. So when children come to Feller School, the first few days is all about, feeling comfortable here and knowing that everybody here has a struggle with learning to read and spelling. But that is not going to identify you. Here at Feller, we are going to figure out what your strengths are, and we're going to focus on those strengths. And so when our students first come, there's story after story about children just making so much progress that, they feel like they're experts and they can teach anybody else in the class. It's pretty exciting. After the Feller 5, we had our second year as Feller School, and we were fortunate enough to rent space from a bigger school, and that's where we are right now. And last year we had 17 students, so we went from 5 little boys to 17 students, and now this year we had 23 students. It would be so wonderful if we could help more students, more children learn to read. We are the solution for children with dyslexia. Coming here, we are the solution. They can learn to read. They will be successful here. They will thrive. If teachers from anywhere want to learn what we do, we can help them be the solution as well in their schools. We can teach them how to teach their children the way our brains learn to read, and they too can be successful and feel that satisfaction of being the solution to the problem of our literacy crisis, which it is. So Wisconsin is not the only state in the union that has poor reading scores. It's all over the nation. We have a literacy crisis, really. I mean, nothing in our state, it's not getting any better. And it's not until we embrace the science. How do we teach these kids to read? They need phonics instruction. They need to have explicit instruction. They need to have the answers on how to decode a word. They also need a good vocabulary. We've got to bring in some background knowledge for them. We've got to increase their understanding of good vocabulary. So if we have the phonics instruction, if we have the oral language piece, the understanding of our oral language, including the vocabulary, we're going to have really good readers that comprehend what they're reading. But my dream is that we don't have to charge tuition. I don't know how that will happen. My other dream is to take all the children who have less than anybody else, bring them here. And we're going to be the solution. We're going to love you, we're going to teach you, and you're going to love to learn. And you're going to be able to read. And once you read, the world is your oyster.